right, Michelle. So, second week talking to the Rentry team. We are jumping into last week we talked about how to look at an ROI of a website, right? This week, we're jumping into a term that I actually stole from someone that we've worked with, Alden Matthews. And she would always say, make the job description of your website, right? So, what does that mean? That means exactly the way that it sounds, right? So, if your website was a person, what do you need that person to do? Are they head of sales? Are they head of brand? Are they head of technical support? What do you need your website to do? So, I'm curious from your standpoint, right? So, first of all, I'm going to let you take a quick moment, and this is the first time you're on the video series, to like introduce yourself really quickly, but then also, how do you help clients sort of establish that job description whenever we first kick off a project?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Michelle Penn. Some of my stuff still says Bauerschmidt. One day it'll all say Penn. And I am currently the project manager at Red Tree, do a lot of client facing stuff. So we talk a lot about websites with clients. And it is different with doing a job description for new clients and clients that we work with constantly that have recurring contracts. So when it's with a new client, it really helps us make sure we are making the right decisions for the website. So typically, we can get the job description from our initial discovery meeting with the client, where we get really in depth about their brand, about what they need from their website. So we kind of lump that job description in there, and we really are able to just run with it and make sure we are making the website the best at its job that it can be.
When most of the time when we kick these things off, do you think a client has a general idea of what their website, like, do you think they already know the job description of their site?
Honestly, I think it's a little bit of both. I think some clients do. I think some clients need guidance and helping. I think some clients they want to, everyone wants all the ROI and the all the contact form submissions. But sometimes once we talk through things, clients realize it's more of a touch base or something else that their website is actually doing for them that we need to focus on, and those other things kind of come along with it. So is it a sales rep or is it a customer service rep where we're giving them information that they need so that then we can build that sales rep with the actual sales rep?
Right. Or is it a brand reinforcement, right?
Yep,
So
exactly.
is it one of those things where they've got enough either other marketing efforts or they've got enough salespeople that purely their website just needs to track with what the rest of the world is saying?
Exactly.
I know sometimes, I know that when we've done, and this is maybe not for new sites, right? But we've had a lot of people recently come to us and say, like, there's just something wrong with the site and we're really not sure what. And that's where I see a lot of the either, we're going to continue with the job description. The job description has changed, right? So they thought it was the sales, and what they really need it to do is the brand reinforcement or brand awareness. And yes, it could potentially be a sales lead generation, but sometimes it just needs to like reinforce what they're seeing elsewhere. And that should be revisited a lot, right? And I think a lot of people do know that, but like to think of it as, hey, this is really vague, right? We don't really know what you want the site to do, because one minute you're sending us to a case study and the next minute you're sending us to a blog, and then you're burying your contact page. Is it a sales tool? Is it a mystery puzzle? We don't really know.
And honestly, how many times do job descriptions kind of have like a twofold, like you'll need to do this and this? So sometimes it's pulling out the what else does it need to do? Especially if you're in a smaller business, there's a lot of times you wear multiple hats. So sometimes your website may also need to do multiple hats. We need to make sure we're enforcing it in a strategic way. We're not just like, oh, this will be great, this will be great. Like, we want to do this because this makes sense and it'll help reinforce the sales or it'll help reinforce the brand. So just being strategic about all of it as well.
which goes to our reoccurring. So you originally had started like, this is when we're building out a new one. We've got a job description. We really make sure that that is being reinforced. And when we also have other clients who either on our Blossom optimization and or, call us if you need us, there's a different situation. So how do you guide users, during that instance instead, or not users, clients?
So a lot of it is trying to uncover the why they're doing something and the what they need it for to make sure we're guiding them in the correct way. I know we have a client who used to do, their website was more of like a reference check. So more of like just informational, almost like a customer service rep. But now they're starting to do webinars. And that is an added bonus. So now we have to think about how we add that on strategically, making sure we're still giving them that information, but also now showing this added benefit of services that they are going to provide.
And we've had clients too. I love your analogy of sometimes job descriptions, especially if you do work for a small business, there's usually like a bullet line item, which is like, and anything that Red Tree may need you to do to help us grow, right? Like we have those. We try not to take advantage of that, but like we have those. And so I'm thinking of another site that we have for Apter Industries, and Apter sells commercial cleaners at a wholesale level. And they wanted to release a blog post that said they're going to be at this conference. And their primary job description for their site is sales, 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 sales and conversions, and a little bit of customer service. But this whole like brand awareness and that they're going to go to this conference, that wasn't a part of the job description, but they really wanted people to know that they were going to these conferences and to sort of come and see them. And that was that bullet line item of like, your website may need to also serve as like a brand authority leader. The nice part about that was I think we came up like number 3 for the conference term. Like that blog post came up like number 3 for the conference, which was really great from an exposure standpoint, but that wasn't the original goal. It was, hey, we're going to be at this conference, come and see us.
Yeah. So fun news about that. I actually had a call with Apter not that long ago, and there's a form on the bottom of that blog post, and they actually had 2 people fill it out. And I was like, oh, okay, 2 people, that's not bad. She's like, Michelle, most of the people that go to this conference are already our clients. So those 2 new people is actually kind of a big deal. And we were like, yeah. So we did still get some conversion and some possible sales from it. So it all adds up.
And that always does seem to work out that way, doesn't it? Awesome. All right, Michelle, before we jump off, is there anything else that you want anyone to sort of think about when they're creating a job description for their website?
I would definitely say make sure it's realistic. And try to think about your users as well, because if you're not thinking about your users, you might be doing a job description that's not helping anybody. So those are the 2 little nuggets that I will pass along.
Well, the last one I'll pass along, which will tee us up really well for our next series, is much like a job description. What's a key performance indicators? What kind of things are you going to start tracking and measuring, which Davina and Alyssa and I are going to be talking about? How do you measure success? But how do you know whether or not your website is doing a good job? You have to set those up front. So once you get done with your job description and you make it realistic, how are you also going to measure whether or not that they're doing a good job? So thanks, Michelle. Have a good one.